Imagine having everything, millions in the bank, packed stadiums chanting your name, the biggest clubs in the world chasing your signature. Now imagine losing almost all of it, not because you weren't talented, but because of the decisions you made, the controversies you faced, or opportunities that slipped away. These are 5 footballers whose careers changed forever. And trust me, number 1 still feels unbelievable. 5. Philippe Coutinho. At Liverpool, Philippe Coutinho looked destined to become one of the best attacking midfielders in the world. His long-range screamers, impossible passes, and trademark curlers made him one of the Premier League's brightest stars. Then Barcelona came calling with a deal worth around 145 million euros. It looked like the dream move. Instead, it became one of football's biggest transfer disappointments. Injuries, inconsistency, and the pressure of replacing Andres Iniesta meant Coutinho never reached the heights many expected. The irony? While on loan at Bayern Munich, he scored twice against Barcelona in the famous 8-2 Champions League defeat. Imagine your old club paying over 100 million euros, only for you to help knock them out of Europe. That's one expensive plot twist. 4. Paul Pogba. Paul Pogba had everything: strength, skill, vision, style. When Manchester United brought him back for a then world record transfer fee, fans expected a legend. Instead, his second spell was filled with inconsistency, injuries, and constant debate. Later, his career suffered another huge setback when he received a doping suspension after testing positive for a prohibited substance. The case was later appealed and his ban was reduced, but the damage to his career had already been done. Whatever happens next, it's difficult not to wonder what could have been. Pogba had world-class ability. Football just never got to see enough of it consistently. It's like buying a Ferrari and only driving it twice a year. 3. Quincy Promes. For years, Quincy Promes was one of the Netherlands' most exciting attackers. He starred for Ajax, represented his country, and looked destined for an even bigger career. But off the pitch, his story changed dramatically. Promes was convicted by Dutch courts in separate criminal cases involving assault and drug trafficking. He has denied wrongdoing in parts of the proceedings, and legal matters surrounding him have continued. Instead of headlines about goals and trophies, football fans were reading about court cases. Talk about switching leagues. From the Champions League to the courtroom, it's a reminder that what happens away from football can completely change how a career is remembered. 2. Benjamin Mendy. Benjamin Mendy was one of the most exciting left-backs in Europe. He helped Monaco reach the Champions League semi-finals before joining Manchester City. He was quick, powerful, and looked like he could dominate the position for years. Then everything changed. Mendy faced multiple serious criminal charges and spent years away from football while legal proceedings took place. He was later found not guilty on the main charges after trial, but by then, the career he once had was almost impossible to recover. Football moves fast. If you're away for months, it's difficult. If you're away for years, it can feel like the game has already replaced you. Sometimes your biggest opponent isn't another winger, it's time. 1. Mason Greenwood. Few young players looked as complete as Mason Greenwood. 2-footed, clinical, calm in front of goal. Many believed he would become one of Manchester United's greatest forwards. Then everything changed. After serious allegations emerged in 2022, Greenwood was suspended by Manchester United. Criminal charges were later discontinued, and there was no criminal conviction. Despite that, his relationship with the club ended, and he eventually restarted his career elsewhere. One of England's brightest young stars suddenly found himself making headlines for reasons that had nothing to do with football. It's one of the biggest what-if stories in modern football. Because when people talk about Greenwood today, they're no longer talking about his finishing. They're talking about what happened off the pitch. Football has given us countless stories of incredible talent. But talent alone has never been enough. Discipline, professionalism, decision-making, and sometimes circumstances beyond the pitch can define a career just as much as goals and trophies. Every player on this list had the ability to reach the very top. Some were stopped by poor decisions, some by controversy, some by circumstances that completely changed their path. One thing is certain: football can give you everything, but it can take everything away just as quickly.